We heard that there was a story here about a cow that got abducted.
It was a stupid poster that somebody made up.
It wasn't real.
No.
The cow, are you filming though?
Yeah.
Are you? I'm going to slap the tar out of you.
Which one? Which one of my cars do you
Not your
want?
driver's license, except, heck, you're younger than I am, so I might take it. And you're still filming, and you really are going to get slapped.
We're allowed to go in.
Them alien chicks was built to please.
That's why we smell of cows. We just came from a dairy farm. Do you drink milk?
If I could drink it, it would be great. But I don't drink much of it.
On planet Mars.
Well, I don't do slaps. I've never slapped anybody in my life. I just threaten a lot.
Really? You never slap your kids?
Oh, dang, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Mustache commercials, they say that milk is good for your bones and makes you grow healthier and stuff like that. So that's why.
That's why you
it's
think
good
that
for your bones. And plus, they eat cheese, like the sticks of cheese. I buy them sticks of cheese, the string cheese.
Cheese is 70 to 80% of calories from fat, most of which is saturated. People don't realize that. They think, oh, this is a health food. It's rich in calcium, but it's not a health food. It's terrible for you.
We have a program here for children, a WIC, and they make sure you have to have milk. And then when they get older, like my little girl, she's off of powder, and now she's on regular whole milk, and now they tell me she's too fat. And then I got to give her less milk, and it's low-fat milk, because she's too chunky, but she's a normal child, you know?
The dairy industry is very powerful. They have tons of money, and they have very successful ad campaigns.
This can have painful consequences. That's why strong bones are so important around here. Especially for those who are just arriving.
Attention all passengers.
The proteins and calcium in milk make your bones stronger and healthier.
They're a giant, and so they have an easy time of getting their message out. Whereas the individuals who really understand the research and understand that dairy products are risky, unhealthy, and definitely unnecessary, they don't have the financial backing for the most part, and they aren't able to get out the word.
Why do we drink milk?
To make our bones stronger, and the calcium.
Calcium?
Yeah, shiny teeth.
Good for your bones.
Well, you got calcium and other vitamins and minerals in it that help with the whole body.
Calcium is important. We need calcium, right? Dairy's got the most calcium in any food, almost. Therefore, we need dairy. That's the simple-minded conclusion.
I just think it's an important ingredient in our diets.
You know, the higher the dairy consumption in different countries, the higher is the risk for osteoporosis. It's not the other way around. Like the dairy industry, I mean, they've been getting away with that yarn for quite a number of years now.
And they found that the countries where they were consuming the most milk, the countries where they're consuming the most calcium, had the highest hip fracture rates. It's actually opposite of what you would think.
At Harvard, the Nurses' Health Study tracked women, more than 70,000 women for over 18 years. What they found is those who drank the most milk had absolutely no protection against hip fractures at all. The idea that calcium is going to build strong bones is a myth.
Over and over and over again, they do these studies, they put more calcium in the system, and it doesn't help the bones.
And if we learned about nutrition, what were the factors that cause us to lose calcium, and what foods we could eat to have calcium from a healthier source, people would be much better off, and their bones would be much stronger too.
when you consume animal protein, such as found in dairy products or meats or eggs, you pull calcium from your bones and excrete it in your urine.
It's the protein in our dairy-based foods that makes it more difficult for us to keep the calcium that we're getting from dairy products in our bodies.
What happens is when you're consuming the animal protein, your blood becomes acidic and your body reacts by pulling calcium from the bones as a kind of buffer to neutralize the blood.
Had 14 or 15 kidney stone attacks, and which will convince you not to drink as much milk as you'd like to drink.
Changes take place throughout the body, including the kidneys. And as a result, they lose that bone mass, that bone material into the kidney system, which precipitates kidney stones, and you have an overall effect of essentially urinating your bones in the toilet.
But although they still say it's good for your bones and teeth, I don't know what good for, you know, what are they talking about?
Why do we believe so much that milk is healthy? Where do we get this
probably
information?
because there's just great ad campaigns by milk producers. Where else would it come from?
Well, I happen to know that milk helps build strong bones, so drink up.
Well, Mr. Miller told me he never drinks milk. Look at him.
Yeah.
Hi, kid.
Oh, that's not good.
Gut milk.
I've learned in my training that the milk helps the brain development.
How does the milk help
The brain development helps their skills in learning their ABCs, the 1, 2, 3s, and colors and stuff.
When you feed cow's milk earlier, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, even 12 months, you're taking a chance the child's going to lose iron from occult gastrointestinal bleeding. And because milk doesn't contain iron as much, and it's not as absorbable as it is from breast milk now, the potential is going to be there for iron deficiency when they're young. And iron deficiency in a young child can have effects on reducing their intelligence. And that reduction in intelligence can be there permanently for the rest of their life.
So in this home daycare, do you give the kids milk?
I have to give them milk at least 2 to 3 times a day.
You have to?
I have to. It's because of the food program that I'm on.
You guys ready?
As ready as I'll ever be. Jen says they put a stick of butter in everything.
Here in Louisiana?
Yeah.
No way.
Yes. Yeah, that's what they're famous for. We're 4. 4.
All right, let me find something for you, okay?
Oh, great. If we can be by the window as well, that would be awesome. You have to wait, no?
Yeah, I put this
on the potato.
Let's see. Fried food, and some fried food.
Come on, baby. Film on the stuff. Of course. Why not? Love it. What was those real quick? Them cheesy potatoes and eggs.
In the year 2000, the Department of Agriculture pulled together for the dairy industry a program designed to trigger cheese craving.
Cheese and butter.
Yeah. Yes. 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 Yes, I do.
It's now 30 pounds per person per year, thanks to government programs. You don't actually need any other explanation for why Americans are so fat these days.
Well, they gives you strong bones.
Nobody tell me, so that's what I've been doing.
This is weird. We are in downtown. We're
This
the
is
only
downtown?
car.
This is
Yes.
Look, you even echo in the city.
I know. Hello. Okay, take a left on State Street, sir. Do you drink milk? No. He said no. All right, big Mississippi interview.
Sun, shine.
Is milk good for you?
Yes, it is. It's very good for you.
What does milk do for the body?
It does the body good, just like the commercial says. I've got a poster in my bedroom of a Three Stooges with Curly, with milk over his lip, and right after Mo hit him with a bar, and the bar is all bent over his head. And it says underneath, milk makes strong bones. And I agree with that 100%.
The dairy industry's grown, become very rich. The last time I looked, they had something like $165 million just to advertise their product. That's a lot of money.
TV. That's where we get all our good information, right? TV. Why can't we use soy milk with it?
Well, it would be just as good, but, you know, the corporation won't allow it.
The last time I looked was now, maybe 15 or 20 years ago, they had 300 dairy offices around the United States. 300 offices. You know, that they're doing their thing. They are so powerful. They are so powerful.
Milk. What can we tell you about milk? Down here, milk is a commodity that no one lives without. Milk is a staple. Everybody in the South drinks milk.
Who tells us that milk is healthy?
TV, basically.
FDA.
Yeah, but we get it all from TV. I mean, I've read a few articles, but how many people read articles on milk? You know, like I said, they come with the thing, you know, the white thing, the big advertisement, milk is good, and just because they say it on TV, most people believe it's true.
Well, one thing I have to say for American industry is we're really good at using our byproducts. You know, we make butter, and what do you have left over after you make butter? Well, you have skim milk. You sell as much skim milk as you can, and you have something else left over. So then you dry it down, and you have these leftovers. And so if they can create a market for the leftovers, then they make more money.
Anytime you have milk derivatives in a food product, you are making that food product dependent on the dairy industry.
It's capitalism. It's a smart idea. I mean, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, but what is the health impact of that? That's a whole nother question.
That's what America's all about. It's not if it's healthy for you, it's not if it's good for you, it's how can I market this and how can I get you to spend your money. That's what America's about.
We're at the Citgo gas station where there's a whole hell of a lot of possums.
Milk, it does a body good. I don't know. I don't know. I think it would be cool for everybody to go and at least once try the milking a cow.
It's the real deal.
Man, that is so cool. And then I think it's just a different, people kind of see where it comes from. You know, they probably would respect a farmer more. I like it just straight out the cow, man. Yeah. Because it's just more pure that way, I guess. Now that's a whole different process. Because normally you just go to the store and get it out of a jug for $5 a gallon. But the farmers are actually the ones that's getting it. They're selling 100 pounds for like $13. And people normally don't know where it comes from.
Clay Logan, possum capital of the world, just in case you wanted to know that. The dropping of the ball in New York, only we lower the possum in Bracetown. You know, our dairy farms went from, I believe, like 25 to 0. We have 0 dairy farms in Clay County now. And I just had a 5 bypass heart attack a month ago, you know. I had 5 bypasses done and I had 8 blockages. And I'd say it was my lifestyle of eating that and hereditary. You know, part of it's hereditary, but it's what you eat.
One of the main factors is a high diet high in animal products, especially animal products that are high in saturated fat. And as I said earlier, that the biggest contributor of saturated fat in the American dietary landscape is dairy products, cheese and butter.
Dairy products are a rich source of cholesterol and saturated fat, which are the 2 things you want to avoid if you're at risk for heart disease, or even if you want to prevent heart disease altogether.
If you look at what's in milk and other dairy products, it's a recipe for a heart attack. It's got an awful lot of fat in it, mostly saturated fat, the kind that raises cholesterol.
So if there was one food to wipe out to prevent heart disease, that would be cheese and butter. But when you have heart disease, you'd be crazy to eat pouring cheese and butter on your foods. But, you know, go to a hospital and see what they feed them. See what they feed people coming out of bypass surgery. See what they bring to you when you're in a hospital. They bring you all kinds of high saturated fat dairy products.
Probably not milk.
Everything they told me was a lie.
We worked on this a total of about 27 years. You know, and we did many, many experiments, dozens of experiments over the years, and we asked all kinds of questions. First off, is it really true that animal protein, in this case cow's milk protein, that it can increase cancer? Well, we established that point in spades. It was absolutely true. It was dramatic. And then we went to some other questions, like, for example, how does it work? You'd like to know those kind of things. to get more confidence, and the more we looked at a very fundamental level, biochemical level, we could find out this was changed, this was changed, this was changed. A whole lot of things was just sort of going wrong to create this cancer phenomenon. And then we got to a point where we could actually turn on and turn off cancer development just by giving them cow's milk protein or taking it away. That was dramatic.
Insulin-like growth factor, which is a hormone that mama cow puts in the milk for baby cow to grow, and human mothers do the same thing for in human breast milk.
Because milk is designed to make things grow. And so the mother cow is putting growth factors and hormones and nutrients into the milk to cause changes in the calf's body that make the calf's cells grow.
When you're an adult, you don't need any more growth hormone. Growth hormone basically is looking around for something to do. If it finds a non-self cell or a mutated cell, then it can act on those cancerous cells and increase growth of cancer cells.
Because when we're done growing, we don't need to grow anymore, and so, but our bodies still think that something needs to grow.
All of a sudden, here's cow's milk protein, the most sacred of all nutrients, I think, as we've been educated. It causes cancer. It's ridiculous. And the information we got on cow's milk protein would make it the most relevant, significant chemical carcinogen we consume. Now, the question is, why doesn't the public get to know this?
We know that milk is associated with increased risk of prostate cancer. We know that milk is associated with increased risk of ovarian cancer. We know that milk is associated with higher levels of IGF-1, which increases your risk of breast cancer. We know all these things, but the public doesn't get that information.
Who controls what the government promotes is all based on social and political concerns and economic concerns. It's not based on science.
Now, they say that milk helps you lose weight.
Really? Well, I wouldn't, chug 2 gallons of milk in the morning and, expect to lose weight anytime soon.
Then I think it's easy to believe what you see if you don't know any better.
Let's just think about that for a minute. Milk helps you lose weight. Okay, you take this, we'll talk about the data, but let's just think about that for a second. You take this food, we'll call it a food, that is designed by mammalian mothers for their babies to help a tiny mammal grow into a much larger mammal. This is a food that's designed to make other mammals get bigger.
It's hard to think that this is anything other than nonsense. And yet it's sparked an enormous multi-million-dollar ad campaign to try to get people to buy milk.
Research papers in the scientific journals that show that their top scientists realize this is fraud.
There's been about 50 randomized controlled trials that have looked at the effect of either dairy or calcium on weight loss. 45 of those 50 studies have shown no effect of dairy or calcium on weight loss. 2 have shown weight gain and 3 have shown weight loss. The 3 that showed weight loss, all by this guy, this one guy who's been funded by the dairy industry.
His name is Michael Zemmel. He's in Tennessee. And other researchers have put this theory to the very same test. And they haven't been able to find the same result. They find that if anything, milk doesn't do anything, or it might actually cause you to gain more weight.
My stepdaughter She actually had asthma real bad. She was hospitalized for 3 weeks out in Philadelphia. And the doctors couldn't figure it out. She still has asthma, but we went to one doctor and they actually said, stay away from all milk and dairy products.
We know that, you know, if you do the right kind of diet, you can actually probably save at least 80% of all the illness in this country, serious illness and otherwise. I happen to believe it's more closer to 90, 95%. You can actually cure disease this way. There's a huge effect. But are we addressing it as a society? No, not at all.
Well, they diagnosed me as having bronchitis, asthmatic bronchitis. And so I was on theophylline, and then they developed the time-release Theodore, and I'd be on toxic levels of, like, it's either 400 or 600 milligrams 4 times a day, which is the most that you can take. And yet my blood level would not be at the amount that they wanted, and they kept blaming it on me. You know, it's your problem, it's your fault.
We give them a diabetic medication. We give them a high blood pressure lowering drug. We give them a cholesterol lowering drug. We're giving them permission to continue to eat the same diet style that caused the problem to begin with. So the inevitable consequence is the disease, the underlying disease, has to get worse as they continue to follow the same diet that caused the problem to begin with. We're selling them out. We didn't give them the possibility, we didn't give them the knowledge where they now have the possibility to reverse their diseases and live longer and save their life. That's malpractice.
I mean, when you're looking at doctors, it just... That's a tough one. I mean, they're supposed to know because they go to med school.
You know, at the most, they might get one course. I mean, for undergraduates, that's ridiculous.
We're not adequately informing the people what they can do. We're just giving them a drug.
And getting yourself in such a mess that now is really driving the whole healthcare cost problem.
And I met some people that knew about food allergies and about milk and other things that were bad for you. So I stopped drinking milk and some other things and cleaned up my diet and did a lot of different things for several years, and I didn't have any more problems. I didn't have to take any medication.
This professor comes along, starts talking about nutrition. My favorite nutritionist is Jane Brody. Jane Brody's not a nutritionist. She's a writer for the New York Times. She had a book. She's a graduate of Cornell. I know her. This guy doesn't have a clue. He's sitting there. He couldn't believe it. He said he has 140 people sitting around him. He said, now, here's 140 of my colleagues going out to be doctors. And that's what they get for nutrition. Pathetic.
Where does everybody get the information that milk is really good for us?
Mom. We don't ask Mom where she got that from. She got it from them. They know.
What is this, home movie?
Well, something like that.
Yeah.
We're doing a documentary about milk.
Milk.
It does about
Yes.
it? Milk?
Yeah.
I see.
Do you drink milk?
Yes.
Why do you drink milk?
Because it's chocolate. I only drink chocolate milk.
Only chocolate milk?
That's right, from brown cows.
How do they always give us milk?
Well, they eat grass.
I'm Isabel Maples. I am a registered dietitian. I studied at Chapel Hill, and for undergraduate, I have a master's in sports nutrition. It's a package of 9 different nutrients that Americans need, adults and kids, for growth and development and good health. Oh, definitely. I mean, besides milk, there's also dairy foods like cheese and yogurt. Well, and again, that's old advice. Traditionally, when somebody had heart disease, they, particularly if they had high cholesterol, they followed a low-fat, low-cholesterol diet. And dairy foods might be one of the things they mistakenly avoid in their diets. Typically, animal foods would have cholesterol in them. Plant foods don't have any cholesterol in them. And they tend to be, not always, but they tend to be higher fat foods that would have cholesterol in them.
So, butter, cheese, sour cream, milk. You can have dairy products if you have heart disease or if you have a tendency to it?
Oh, definitely. Any hormones that a cow uses are not active in a human body. That's like the same way your key to your house doesn't unlock the key to your car. I mean, it's not the key to your car. Girls are more likely to be living with people, other men, like stepfathers, that are not biological relatives. And that has to do with pheromones, that maybe they go into puberty early because of pheromones.
Because they're staying with someone that's not their dad?
Mm-hmm. Sexual images that girls are exposed to. They make more sense than the possibility that, that milk is an issue.
There are traces of antibiotics in milk.
I would say no. I would say what basically, I've worked with African Americans an awful lot, and that tends to be one of the groups that often is lactose intolerant and may be afraid to consume more dairy because of lactose intolerance. But just because their grandmother did too. I mean, part of it's just the cultural thing. But in terms of who needs dairy,
why do it make me go to the bathroom?
African Americans really, really need the nutrients that dairy provides.
Maybe we should give them other choices apart from milk because it causes discomfort. It causes, and maybe that could be a problem for them to concentrate at school.
Yeah, well, the concentration, I guess I can see. I was going to say I've never heard that comment, but okay, I can see that. Again, I mean, I think that nutritionally, what they're going to get from milk is different than what they get from soy beverages. Yeah, I have to look that up. You know what? I have to look that up to see what the difference is.
Here we go. One step at a time, don't be living on the line. I don't need.
Please ring bell for service.
Hello? Yes, ma'am. Where am I going? Oh, hi. Well, I was looking for someone that can answer some nutritional questions.
And how you get into this building?
The other lady, because we went to the other building, and then they sent us over here, and she opened us up and to talk. I mean, I'm just looking for someone. I have just nutritional questions.
Yeah.
And I was told when I called up that you can just come into the research center.
That is just fine. I was just kind of wondering who you talked with, and then usually we not let other people in.
Oh, okay.
That is just fine.
Is there someone here that can meet with me? If not now, then maybe tonight or tomorrow morning?
Actually,
Step at a time, don't be living on the line.
Okay. Well, they don't even know what your questions are.
Well, I can give him the questions. I have them right here.
I'm not even sure if we're authorized for somebody to answer your questions. Look, you're going to have to send me an email with the information about your documentary, what you're doing this documentary on, and what questions you want to get answered. And it can take days. So we're not going to get you something for tomorrow. It's too complicated.
I'm just asking
Shira,
about milk.
give me your full name and your phone number, and I'll give you my email address, and you can send me an email, and we can go from there. But to go on like this, there's no point. I can't talk to you over there unless I know what the questions are, and I need to know what your background is on this.
Well, I'm asking about the milk protein and how it actually excretes calcium. I'm asking about the proven connection between milk and cancer development, food assistance programs, and lactose intolerance, and also where they get the vitamin D that they add to the milk. So these are factual, nutritional, informational questions that have aroused from medical journals that I've read.
And have you tried to speak to the people who wrote these medical journals?
Yes, I have, but they're not connected to the USDA, and I just want to know what the USDA has to say about these medical journals that came out. And
They're not going to be able to talk to you over there, so you have to be able to accept that for today.
So my question is, if somebody has a question about nutrition, where should they go?
There are all kinds of different sources of information about nutrition on the internet and different places. So you're just going to have to accept that. Send me that email, and I'll be happy to talk to you. Have a good day.
It's good for you because it helps you look better too. Your complexion looks better.
It puts calcium into your bones, so it becomes stronger.
And you grow mentally, and it helps you at school.
It makes you grow faster.
It seems like milk companies pretty desperate.
So I don't see get broccoli posters up here.
What happens to people that don't drink milk?
They stay short.
I think the ads in the cafeteria is, the smartest form of advertising ever. I think that if you're trying to get people to buy milk, to drink milk, that you put it in the schools, and the kids see it, and then when they're adults, they're hearing all the time is milk is healthy, milk makes you grow, milk makes your bones strong. So of course they're going to be feeding it to their kids, and I don't know if anybody really knows when they're drinking it what it does.
Why does the public get to know this?
The got milk cacophony.
You're not really getting the true information.
Every scientist knows about it. The dairy industry knows about it.
There's two careers for a dairy animal.
I mean, this stuff is dirty.
We are very conservative in terms of science.
So it's not based on science. They get most of the vitamin D milk, I think, is made from lanolin, which comes from the wool of sheep. So they make it from, they don't kill the sheep to get the lanolin. They just shave its wool off and they squeeze the lanolin out of the sheep wool and then they add it to the milk. You're looking like you're stunned. You didn't know that?
I am cow, hear me moo. I weigh twice as much as you, and I look good on the barbecue. Yogurt, curd, cream, cheese, and butter.